Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the middleweight bout between Tafon Nchukwi versus Jamie Pickett. So this is a pretty good matchup right here. And Dana White is definitely showing a lot of interest in Tafon or Nchukwi or Dadon or whatever name he wants to go by, King Wolves. But Dana White is definitely, let me stop stuttering. But yeah, Dana White is definitely showing a lot of interest in Tafon. The UFC showing a lot of interest in Tafon, and they're putting, a lot more exposure than usual, a lot more interest than you would see as far as a fighter that is just debuting in the UFC. And you could definitely see their investment into him. So all the way off the bat, it's looking like it's favoring Tafon, and it is favoring Tafon. Like, odds are favoring him, the UFC's favoring him, and this fight is supposed to come out here and be a showcase. But me as a predictor and me as an analyzer and me as this, I'm going to look deeper into the fight and see everything I see and then lead to my prediction. So look at this one right here. Let's start with this tail of the tape. Tafon is 6 feet tall, and Pickett, or Jamie Pickett, is 6'2". The reach for both is Tafon the Don or Tafon Nchukwi has a 77-inch reach, whereas Jamie Pickett has an 80-inch reach. Experience definitely on Pickett's side. Oh yeah, on his side, not side, but his side. And Tafon on his side only has in four fights, whereas Pickett has about 17 or 18 fights. And Nchukwi only has 4 fights, 4-0. Now I'm trying to go for 5-0. Undefeated, a big hype around him, but experience not really there. So 4-0. And on the other side, age-wise, Tafon is only 25 or 26, and Pickett is 32 years old. So youth is definitely on Tafon's side. Height and reach are on Pickett's side, but Tafon is the more filled-out fighter. He's definitely more filled out, definitely physically bigger, physically stronger, and it has shown in his fights, and I think it will show in this fight as well. Like I said, Pickett will be the more experienced fighter, the longer fighter, longer, rangier fighter. You know, a lot of times he likes to get in on the inside and bang. I definitely think this fight where he should look to be on the outside. I think he does have the tools. He has a good front kick that can maintain distance. He has some good check hooks. He has a good straight, some good hooks in there. So he has some good underrated technique. I think a lot of times he lets his technique go out the window, or he gets too comfortable on the back foot, especially when he's going against a heavier-handed striker than him. He ends up being on his back foot too much, and that could be an issue for him, especially in this fight with Tafon being such a heavy hitter and definitely being more of an inside fighter. Tafon can fight on the outside. He's not just an inside fighter. He's very technical, but where I think he's most dangerous is on the inside. Outside, he's technical and clean. He could, like I say, he could be a problem, but you're not really super scared of him on the outside. You see a big guy like that, you definitely want to fight him on the outside, or at least not be on the inside with him too much, because then you'll get bullied in the clinch. He's very, like I said, he's extremely strong. He'll be in that clinch. You don't want to be in the inside getting ripped to the body with those big hooks, or getting put in the Muay plum and getting bullied around the cage. We saw against when he fought Knight, and we've seen some of his other fights outside these. Well, as I seen against William Knight, some of his fight when he's in that clinch, he's just a bully. And especially against a fighter as physically imposing as William Knight is, to get manhandled like he did against Tafon Nchukwi. You just don't want to be on the inside with him at all. You want to be on the distance fighting from the outside. And like I said, he could fight from the outside as well, but definitely the danger area with him, like the big danger area, is on the inside. Don't be on the inside with him. Not like, I feel like Jamie Pickett might try to press the action on the inside, but unless maybe you have him hurt or you have him worn out, tired, then you're pressing the pace. But just going at a fresh Tafon Nchukwi on the inside, it's just going to be a first round knockout. He's probably going to get a $60,000 bonus. So I don't think that's what Pickett. I think Pickett going to see his height, see his reach, and look to fight on the outside, and Tafon's going to have to work to get inside, and then that makes the fight interesting. So I'm looking at the odds. I feel like they should be close. Definitely Tafon deserves some of the hype, but you got to also respect Pickett. Yes, he was like third time's the charm as far as contender series. Like, he lost to Bird, then he lost to the Hawaiian dude, and then he got a third chance and fought another Hawaiian dude, and he got into UFC. And yes, I'm forgetting their names, but I remember Bird. I know exactly who the other guy he lost to. But either way, it was third time the charm as far as contender series for him to get his shot in the UFC. So you look at it, Tafon just took one time, it was a charm, undefeated, young, and now getting debut in UFC, whereas Pickett, he had to have the long road to the UFC, had to work and have 2 opportunities to just go the other way, just lose, and then finally get that third chance, and finally that was a charm. 32 years old, and just getting his shot right now. Whereas Tafon's a young guy, everything going right for him. But you gotta respect his experience. Despite him losing, being what's called 1-2 on the Contender Series, and just getting into the UFC now, you gotta respect all the experience that he has and all the technique and all the stuff he has gained along the way. So that's what I'm looking at as far as odds. And I do think he's a big step up from Tafon's last opponent. I'm not saying he's a big step from William Knight, who was his second to last, or third to last opponent. Well, yeah, his second to last opponent. But it's a big step up from his last opponent, his Contender Series opponent. I think William Knight's a better fighter than Pickett, but the guy Al Matavo I don't think is as good as Jamie Pickett. That's what I'm saying. So like I said, the height, the reach, the technique is going to be an issue for Tafon. But looking at Jamie Pickett's patterns, also let me say some more about overall skills. Everyone at Lloyd Irvin, for the most part, that gym is does very well on the BJJ scene, and Tafon is a high-level competitor in BJJ. He has placed in some credible competitions, won some competitions, so in BJJ. So his jiu-jitsu is very underrated. Even though you do not see it as much, or he doesn't really like to utilize it, or it's not seemingly something he uses as his path to victory often, or really hasn't been showcased much in his MMA career. That's definitely a factor if he wants to take it to the ground at points. This will make the fight much easier if he did that path, but I feel like this is going to be a striking matchup as his Contender Series fight was, and his William Knight fight was, and some of his other fights were, and literally every other his fight were. But now, that being said, with Tafon Nchukwi being the more well-rounded fighter, how I see this fight going, and also him being on the other side of the reach equation, I feel like it'll come down to their patterns. I think Tafon's a bit of a slow starter, or for the most part, kind of a slow starter. He likes to fill it out, get his range, get his timing, get his setups, and set up his techniques. And then once he gets you set up, he lands. And then also you saw that in his Al Matavo fight. He didn't come out the bat and just run through Matavo. He had to find his range, get his setups, get accustomed to Matavo, and start to find his patterns. Then when he found his patterns, he finished him. He found that pattern, the fight was over. And that's how he is. He's not a guy that's going to necessarily come out there and just run through you unless you're just easy money. He's going to run through you, but more so he's going to fill you out, find your openings. Then once he finds the openings and have that set up, he's going to put you out. And that's why in that fight he did get outlanded strike-wise, or significant strike-wise, but at the end of the day, he was the one who landed the kill shot, because he wasn't out there necessarily playing for points. He was playing for the kill. He was fighting. He was looking at the whole fight. He was finding patterns, and he was like, I'm going to find that pattern, and I'm going to put you out of here. And I feel like that's kind of going to be similar to this fight in a way, but I think it'll be more defensive in a way, because like I said, you're dealing with a longer, rangier, heavier, maybe a potentially heavy hitting fight, or a heavier hitter in this one in his last fight, even though Matavo talks so much about his power. By the way, he's going to have to come in on the inside. But I think in the case where he's going to be finding the pattern of Pickett, pressuring him, forward pressure, defensive, finding that range, finding the time, and finding Pickett's weaknesses. Eventually start to get Pickett on that back foot, catch him some heavy counters. Like I said, put him on that back foot, have his back to that cage, start to rip him to the body. And I think this over the course of 2 rounds. So the first round more is going to be a full-out round, maybe be a Pickett round, Pickett landing more strikes from the outside. But like I said, Tafon finding his timing, finding his range, and finding his substance, really breaking down the patterns of Pickett, and get Pickett to go back. Like I said, first round is figuring him out. In the second round, start to find that pattern, get him pushed back, then get him to react to the counter. Get him to react to the feint. Pickett opens his arms wide, expecting something like, when people react, it's reacting, expecting a bigger shot, and then Tafon coming around the side with a hook, cracking him, rocking him, then loading up on flurries and put him away in that second round. So in this fight, I got Tafon Nchukwi via second round TKO. And that concludes my fight prediction for Tafon Nchukwi versus Jamie Pickett. And as always, thanks for watching.